What's going on, guys? Fun with Knives back again. Got another new CRKT unboxing for you guys. Recently picked this one up. Normal green CRKT box, confidence in hand. What model is this? This is the Jettison model number 6130. This is the larger version. When I saw the design for the Jettison, it really caught my eye, and then I saw how small the normal Jettison, or the compact, whatever they're calling it, is tiny. I think it's got like a 2-inch blade. It's a titanium frame lock, but it seems too small to be an efficient flipper and an efficient frame lock. So I went with this more normal size version. Normal paperwork in your box there. Comes in the plastic sleeve, just like the CRKT Amicus I just unboxed. And this knife looks really cool to me. I really like the design. It's nice and skinny. And then your Wharncliffe blade, it looks really cool. So guys, I'm gonna give you guys the specs on this, tell you how I've been liking it so far since I've had, this knife for a total of a day. And I'll tell you just a couple of the criticisms I already have about it. So we have a 3 1/4 inch blade, a 4 1/2 inch handle length, and then a 7 3/4 inch length overall. Your handle thickness is only 0.42, so a really thin handle, but your blade thickness, your blade stock back here is 0.16, so an ultra thick blade. That really helps in the flipping action, which I'll talk about in a moment. And then your weight is 4 1/2 ounces, so not super heavy, but a little bit heavier than you think this knife would be, because this is a full steel construction here. This knife designed by Robert Carter. I think I've had one other Robert Carter design, if my memory serves me well. But I really do like this Wharncliffe blade, guys. It almost looks half Wharncliffe, half harpoon with this kind of cutout here. And I really think it looks attractive. You have just a hollow grind on it. It's a little bit reminiscent of my Yojimbo blade. I've been really trying to get a little bit more into these Wharncliffes because I found them very useful. CRKT on this side. Jettison Carter design. Sorry, the satin finish on this blade is really reflecting a whole lot of light. But guys, I do like the blade. I think it's funky. I think it's a little bit weird, but it's definitely going to serve me well in an EDC setting. Your deployment is this really large flipper here. The knife deploys pretty well, which is really surprising because this knife is riding on just Teflon washers. And I think what it is, because Teflon washers can only be so smooth, is that this blade, with its thickness and its size relative to the handle, it's so heavy that it has so much inertia that coming out that it's going to continue coming out on those Teflon washers. And as you can see, closing this knife is a breeze too. You can even shake it closed. It's not going to be ball bearing pivot smooth. I can get this thing to fail if I try. But as a manual flipper, this thing is performing really well. You do have a nice stone washed finished steel handle. I'm not huge on how thin the handle is. It really feels like I'm holding on to a pencil or just something really thin. But I like the harpoon shape. Gives me a nice Filipino grip if I need to get up on the knife. You don't have any jimping up here whatsoever, or on any point of the knife for that matter. I love the clip though. You're going to be riding real deep, maybe a 1/4 inch out of your pocket. Yeah, something really thin. I love the design. The clip is also stone washed. You have a frame lock here, and it's hitting pretty early, and these are fairly thin steel, handle scales here, but lockup is very secure. I mean, maybe just the slightest hint of side-to-side play, maybe not even that. So lockup is really good. Blade centering is oddly on the lock side and not centered up, so I will have to kind of adjust that pivot and see if I can get it there. These are just kind of my initial impressions, guys. And then you do have a backspacer here that I'm assuming is aluminum. It looks a little bit different material. Fit and finish isn't great. You can see it's not sitting in there perfect, but you can't really expect too much more than that. This knife costs around 32 bucks. So as far as I can tell, guys, this is a screaming deal as compared to the normal or compact Jettison, which costs around 29. A couple bucks less for a whole lot less of knife, and that's more of a keychain knife. And I think this is a good EDC. I think it's going to fulfill my Wharncliffe needs or wants, but there is no lock bar over travel here. I don't think. Maybe there is one internally in there. Yep, not that I can see. I think I can extend this lock bar out a little bit. Not too worried about that. But blade centering, not stoked about that either. And just kind of it's not a design flaw. It's just kind of my own personal thing where I usually like a little bit more to hold on to, but we'll see, guys. Once I use this knife quite a bit and carry it, I think this is going to be one of my favorite manual knives. And it rides really slim in pocket. I did throw this in my pocket once, and it rides slim in this direction. It rides adequately deep for me, and this thing's actually just a whole lot of fun to play with. You can shake it closed once you get past that detent. The detent's a little weak, but nothing to complain about too much. So guys, thanks for watching. As always, look for an upcoming review on this CRKT Jettison, and I'll have more knife videos coming up.